Welcome back, guys. I'm coming from you in Vegas. I wasn't going to make a video today, but there is a lot going on in the crypto space that I think we need to address. Crypto is crashing today. It's the end of the world. People are hitting me up. Why is Bitcoin down? What is going on? And this is normal, guys. We are in a bull market. We're going to see these pullbacks. Bitcoin ripped up yesterday. Altcoins were starting to see a lot of movement yesterday. I want to dive right into it today and go through some X posts that are going to boost your confidence, make you aware of what is going on in the market and where we're at and why this is happening. Let's get straight into it. Remember, everything I say isn't financial advice, and I'm going to pull this up right now. Is this Bitcoin cycle different? And no, the answer is yes, it is actually different, and it's a lot better because institutional structure is building up. Look at right here where I'm circling. We are becoming more stable. These pullbacks are becoming a lot less than in the past, and we haven't even seen retail FOMO yet. We haven't had a parabolic top. The ETFs are just coming, and they're coming in hot, and they're providing a lot more value to Bitcoin and a lot more money being circulated in the system. I mean, this is going to be a long cycle. This is going to be steady growth for Bitcoin, and it's just institutional accumulation. And I do think this is the beginning of something massive because now you have all these companies buying Bitcoin without any normal everyday retail investor even getting in yet. Like the Google searches are at an all-time low, and the OTC counters are at almost an all-time low. Like think about Michael Saylor buying, think about BlackRock buying. They're all buying over the OTC. They're not buying their Bitcoin or crypto on Coinbase. Now, these OTCs have about 160,000 Bitcoins left on them, and Michael Saylor is buying like 6,000 a week. BlackRock's buying like 5,000 a week. Like Bitcoin is running out pretty fast, and it's like giving me the chills because what is going to happen when the OTC counters run out of the couple 100,000 Bitcoin that they actually have left? They're going to have to be buying it from other people to support other companies buying it, and they're going to be paying a premium price because these companies aren't selling it. Supply shock is coming, and people just don't understand that Bitcoin is actually running out. And like even Coinbase, Kraken, Robinhood, all these exchanges are at all-time lows. It's going to get very crazy by September, October when these OTC counters and exchanges start to actually run out of their Bitcoin and cryptocurrency because the supply is just not there, guys. The supply is not there. And you know, I'm so amped to see what actually happens, but Michael Saylor is buying, 5,000-6,000 every week, and now his company is most likely going to get put into the S&P 500 because he showed profit in Q2. So now you have his company entering the S&P 500 with about $30 billion of passive inflows coming the first 6 months, according to Bloomberg. Now that is just going to bring in so much capital to MicroStrategy and also set a short squeeze. And remember what I spoke about in one of my earlier videos. When MicroStrategy goes up, Bitcoin goes up with it. And when Bitcoin goes up, MicroStrategy goes up with it. It's a never-ending cycle, and the price is just going to absolutely skyrocket once this gets added to the S&P. Yep, they qualified for consideration of the S&P inclusion in September. So yeah, they would get listed probably in September, which is in a couple of months. So we do have the summer to wait till that. But when it comes, it's going to come, and it's going to bring the price up very quickly. Tom Lee. Tom Lee is a really big investor. If you don't know him, you should definitely check out and listen to some of the stuff he says. I'm going to play you a little clip by him in a second, but he is developing the same strategy that MicroStrategy has been doing for Bitcoin and accumulating for the past 4 years. He's going to start doing that with Ethereum. Now, he thinks that Ethereum is very important for stablecoins and the blockchain, and the accumulation that he's doing is going to be very big purchases, just like MicroStrategy is doing for Bitcoin. And he's going to start this company called, I think, Bitmine it's called. And he believes that converting a Bitcoin mining company to ETH Treasury is going to benefit banks and stablecoins. And all stablecoins are going to pretty much be launched on Ethereum network, which I do think most of them are, but they're also going to be put on Solana. They're going to be put on XLM because Stellar is going to absolutely blow up from this stablecoin bill too. And the first commercial banks buy and stake, then central banks buy and stake ETH. ETH is going to become a very big staking reserve asset for a lot of people now. It already is. 33% of ETH's total $330 billion supply is already staked. And that's kind of a lot. Like that's like almost, a third or what is that? 33%. Yeah, it's like a third of the amount of ETH that's even, in circulation right now. So he's starting the ETH accumulation trend. I'm going to play you a little clip quick.
Backbone and architecture of stablecoins. So it's important to create a project that essentially accumulates Ethereum to essentially protect and have some influence on the network. So that's why we're creating this treasury vehicle to buy Ethereum. The more Ethereum that's accumulated, the more secure the network is. And I think it's also sort of the architecture that future banks will have. When Goldman issues a stablecoin and JP Morgan doing it on Ethereum, as a layer 1 blockchain, they're going to want to secure it by staking Ethereum. So we're trying to get in front of that by creating a treasury.
So he thinks that pretty much staking Ethereum and starting this Ethereum treasury is going to provide more value to the network, which I absolutely, completely agree with. The SEC yesterday actually approved and accepted Grayscale's application to convert XRP Trust into spot ETF. It's coming. The XRP ETF is going to bring so much capital into the ledger and the ecosystem. XRP shot up yesterday. It's pulling back a little bit today. But I do think XRP is a very safe bet in the next 2 years. XRP is, the founder, Greg Garlinghouse, is very close to President Trump. They're doing really big things, and they're doing it behind closed doors. There is something going on with XRP that I just cannot figure out yet. And there's other investors that talk about it on X2. And I'm watching it very, very closely. Heavily invested still. I love XRP. It's like my third biggest holding. And I do think it's going places. It might be the stable coin back to the US dollar. It might be just something going on in the ecosystem or the ledger, or it's replacing Swift, but something is going on with XRP. I just can't put a finger around it yet. The first Solana ETF was approved yesterday. The price absolutely skyrocketed. It shot up like 5% immediately and then pulled back. Solana is a very volatile asset. Anybody who thinks it's not going up this cycle is out of their minds. It's very, very volatile, but when it moves very fast. And I've been tracking Solana for about 3 or 4 years now. I've been invested for 3 or 4 years on and off. I like to play around with it. It's one of those coins that I ride up and I try to get out before it rides down. It's been pretty successful for me the past few years, and I'm watching it closely. I'm leveraging it, but I only do a 2 to 3x leverage max, which I highly recommend for all of you not to do above 3x leverage, because one candle you are completely wiped out, and it's just not fun. It's happened to me in the past. I learned the hard way, and I highly don't recommend it. Tom Lee again, the whole ETH treasury company is going to be great for him. The SEC also acknowledged a Grayscale digital large cap fund for an ETF with Bitcoin, ETH, XRP, and Solana. This is amazing. I mean, now you have an ETF where you can be involved with all these crypto coins at the same time and, bring power to your portfolio by having all 5. So if one has a good day, one doesn't have a good day, it's all balanced. And this ETF is going to bring billions of dollars into the ETF ecosystem with crypto. I mean, Bitcoin, ETH, XRP, Solana, and Cardano. You have 5 out of the top 10 cryptocurrencies in an ETF. It's a great allocation for institutional investors that can't, get their hands on the actual coin itself. So I do think this is going to perform very, very well. And yeah, I think it's pretty cool. I mean, if I had some money in my Roth IRA that I didn't want in MicroStrategy or Metaplanet at the moment, it would probably go a little bit into that. I would probably allocate a percentage of my portfolio into that as well, for sure. This is very interesting to look at as well. So Bitcoin is starting to look like the start of a bull market. I mean, I've been thinking this for months already, but Q2, let's look at this chart. Q2 closed out for 31.08%. Look at all the other Q2s in the past. This is mimicking 2020 right now. So we had a Q1 drop about 10 or 11% each time, as you can see. Q2 bumping up 42% in 2020, 31% here. Q3 and Q4 are notoriously pretty good for cryptocurrencies, at least, having years. 2017, 2020, 2021, and now. I mean, I personally do think we're going to see a green Q3 and Q4, especially with rate cuts coming. But as you could see for even Ethereum as well in 2020, 69% Q2, and then, blow off from 59 to 104, and then, 6 straight quarters to follow. So, it's very hard to say what's going to happen right now because the fact that this cycle is way different than others. but I do see steady growth coming for Bitcoin and Ethereum right now because they are the top two. There's too much bullish sentiment. You have a pro-crypto administration. There's too many things going on with ETFs, institutional money. There's no black swan event that I can personally see, knock on wood, coming around right now. The first black swan event that I do see coming in the future, not the near future, and I tell this to a lot of friends too, is that I do see an exchange possibly going under, a big exchange, like something where retail investors get screwed and something to bring scare to the crypto market to a point where it drops 30 to 50%. I don't see this coming anytime soon, but I could see it happening to Coinbase, Binance, somewhere where there's a lot of retail money invested that people lose a lot of money because they simply don't know what they're doing. And this is why I stress so often to all my friends, my family members, I'm getting everybody on Ledger and Trezor. I'll provide links in the description below, but you need to put your Bitcoin and your crypto on a ledger or it is not yours. As I said earlier in this video, crypto exchanges are running out of cryptocurrency. And what if Coinbase runs out of Bitcoin and your Bitcoin's held on there and you try to withdraw it? You're not going to be able to. So you need to withdraw your Bitcoin and all your cryptocurrency that you have a decent amount saved in and put it on a hard drive, because if it's not your seed phrase, it's not your token. Because if it's held on Coinbase, if it's held on Kraken, and they run out of the cryptocurrency that you hold, you are screwed. Michael Saylor, what did he buy this week? $530 million worth of Bitcoin. He bought on Sunday with an average price of 106,801. The stock shot up yesterday on the S&P 500 inclusion news. It's going to continue to shoot up. I've seen this stock move. It's been consolidating since December. 6-month consolidation. It's getting ready for its next leg up. And I could see the price at a conservative price of about 650 to 700 by the end of the year, topping out at like 1,200 to 1,500. So I'm leveraged. I'm in MSTU, which is one of the MicroStrategy leverages. And, it's trading at like a 6x Bitcoin premium. So if Bitcoin drops, I'm dropping 6%, but I think drops 1%, I'm dropping 6%, but I'm confident in Bitcoin right now. So I feel like my money is comfortable there. Metaplanet also purchased 1,000 Bitcoin this week, and now they're number 5. So MicroStrategy is the first biggest Bitcoin treasury, as we all know, holding almost 600,000, as you can see right here. But now you have Metaplanet coming in at number 5. So Metaplanet is going to catch up to Mara. They hold 13,350, but they've accumulated this in just like 2 months. So Mara holds like 40,000. I'm getting so excited because Metaplanet is going to blast off. I don't even know where this company is going, but it is going very, very high. They're accumulating Bitcoin at a very, very fast rate. They want about 185,000 more Bitcoin in less than a year and a half, and they are raising a ton of money in Japan to buy it. This is something to really, really take a look at and do your reading on, because this company is in the very, very early stage that MicroStrategy was in. Think about buying MicroStrategy when they had 13,000 Bitcoins. Now, they hold 600,000 now, and the company is worth 100 billion. Metaplanet is worth about like 1.5 or 2 billion, I think, in the US market at least. I don't even know if it's worth that much. I'll have to check again. But think about buying MicroStrategy at like $40 a share is what I'm trying to get at. This stock is going to go very, very high. Exit plan for me is to get out when I see Bitcoin priced at around $150,000, because this is a heavy, heavy leverage. They're trading at an MNAV premium of about, I think, 6 to 7 right now, which is very high. And it's double the amount that MicroStrategy was in when I first invested into that. So this is something I've got my eyes on very closely. I bought it in my Roth IRA, in my Charles Schwab Roth IRA. And the only negative thing about it was that I had a $50 foreign international fee through my bank to purchase it. But the $50 on the purchases I'm making is nothing compared to the amount of return that this is going to yield for me. Because this stock I am very, very confident in, and it's in the very, very early stages of its Bitcoin accumulation. So very excited for Metaplanet. I follow the CEO on X. I'll provide his name in a minute because I got to find it. But it's Simon Gervach. And he's doing very, very big things. So most gave up, some accumulated, a few stayed focused. Look at ETH accumulating for 4 damn years. Like, ETH ripped up from $130 to 4.9K. And that was a rush because I got in ETH at like $500 or $600 and watched it go all the way up. And I also watched it go all the way down. So I was accumulating, I was trading a lot of ETH. I was on the whole NFT craze. I was doing NFTs. I was being sponsored by a lot of NFTs through my Instagram and using my following as leverage to, boost my NFT portfolio and get a bunch of those, just like the apes and all that crap that's now nothing. But ETH spent 4 years consolidating after that whole bull cycle, and look at where we're at now. I mean, it's the perfect chart. It's the perfect setup. It's going to rip very, very high. Something is going on with ETH also behind closed doors, because why would Trump be accumulating ETH? Why would Tom Lee, one of the smartest investors that there is, be accumulating ETH? And why would all these people be accumulating something to just lose their money? ETH is about to break out very, very high. I conservatively predict it to be at around 7,000 by the end of the year, with a high of like 10 to 15,000. Because if you think about it, like ETH, it went from $150 to 4.9K, and we have more network interactions right now than we did when it did that. Now, the price and the market cap is a lot higher, but the amount of institutional money that's pouring into ETH is absurd. So I'm really excited to see where ETH goes, and it's going to rip so fast. We've seen it before. Like, we've seen it rip like crazy. In a year and a half, what is that? $100 to 4.9K. It's like, like 300 something X. So I'm not expecting that this cycle, obviously, but even if it 5Xs from here, that's over $10,000. So yeah, the $30 billion in passive flows I mentioned before, directed right into strategy in the first 6 months that it trades in the S&P. Now, it will be trading in the S&P. It's it's the 97th biggest company in the world. So very excited to see what MicroStrategy does. They're going places. Jack Mallers gave a very, very interesting speech in Prague at the Bitcoin conference there. And I was not a fan of him before I heard it. And then once he opened up about his past and he kept it real, I give him a lot of respect. He's a normal guy. He's very, very young, and he's very, very successful. And I think he's a maximalist. And I disagree with some of the things he says about other altcoins, because I know they will perform because they're needed for the cryptocurrency ecosystem. But as a Bitcoin maximalist perspective, I agree with everything he says. And he is so confident in Bitcoin that he has been fully invested since 2016, like not even holding like $1. And I think that's awesome, because I've also been doing that pretty much since 2020. So he's so young, so successful. And I just think that he has a good heart, and he's in the right place, and he wants Bitcoin to do well because he's in it for the people, and it is the people's currency, the peer-to-peer system that it is. And I think that he's a genuine person in the system that just wants the best for the Bitcoin ecosystem and the best for the people invested in it. This is just an interesting little thing I saw, that, people are always going to say that, whoops, sorry about that. People are going to say that, Bitcoin at 100K, you're gambling, when Bitcoin at 1 million, you got lucky. So, whoops, I had X off for all that, but running through stuff right now. Yeah, Bitcoin at 100K, you're gambling. Bitcoin at 1 million, you got lucky. There's always going to be haters. I got in at $6,000. People asked me why I bought a $6,000 stock. It bumped up to 12,000. People were like, you doubled your money. Why don't you get out? Bumped quick up to 18,000. You tripled your money. Why don't you sell it? Like you're selling. Why don't you sell Bitcoin? You tripled all your money you put in. Nope. I got my dad in at 18K. I was fully convicted by $18,000 that I was in something that was so different than anything else I invested in. And, I got my dad in at 18. He took profits at 30. And once it hit 30K, people were like, you 5x'd your money. Like, how high do you think this is going to go? And I'm like, I don't know, but I 5x'd my money pretty quick. And every time it drops, I just like to buy more because I see it going higher. And every time it dropped, I just like tried to accumulate as much as humanly possible. And then once it hit like, 35, 40, 50K, I was like $50,000 for one Bitcoin. Like this is getting kind of wild. And I thought it was just going higher and higher. And it did. It went to 69K. And assumed it was going higher and higher. So it dropped to 60, I bought more. It dropped to 50, I bought more. It dropped to 40, I bought more. And it kept dropping. But I was still fully convicted. I was never selling. I kept accumulating as much as I could, even when it went all the way down to like 14.5K. And I was still convicted, and I knew it was going back up. And once it reached around 20,000 again and got back up to there, I started reaccumulating at like 26.5K just because I ran out of money to keep accumulating. It was getting crazy. It just kept dropping. And I won't make that mistake again. It's not going to keep dropping like that, in my opinion, because of the institutional adoption. So I'm fully convicted. Like all my money's been in there since 2020. Nothing's going to change that. And no one can change my opinion on Bitcoin itself. Yeah, the altcoins are different. I mean, those are going to drop a lot heavier than Bitcoin does, but Bitcoin itself, it's not going anywhere, people. Lastly, let's talk about Bitcoin dominance. It's approaching its drop. And when it drops, altcoins see a boom. Rotation comes from Bitcoin into altcoins, but the amount of money flowing into Bitcoin is so high that you don't really see the price of Bitcoin bleeding while these like altcoins are booming. So Bitcoin dominance will drop. It already is. Altcoins are outperforming, even on like these quick little rips up. Generational wealth will be made here. The people that are fully convicted in altcoins, I mean, they're gonna rock it. Like some of these altcoins, like let's just pull up a chart really quick. Let's look at Quant, for example. Quant's at $108.33 right now. Let's pull up the chart year to date, 1 year. Let's see what we got here. Let's see if this even loads. Sorry, this is not loading right now, which is weird. Is Cardano loading? Yeah, Cardano is loading. Let's pull up the all-time chart for Cardano. Look at its chart last time. We're here. Cardano ripped all the way up to $3.13. And we are accumulating at a faster pace now than we were back in the last cycle. And look at this steady, follow this dotted line and look at this accumulation for Cardano at the 50-cent level since November of 2024. It ripped up from the low of 30 cents and has been accumulating between 50 cents and $1.30 for a long time. And people still say it's dead. Now, in the past, yes, it did rip all the way up to, let's take a look. Why is this chart only showing me 2021? 70 cents all the way to $3. I mean, the fact it's been stabilizing at this 50 cents level, I don't know why it's not showing me before here, but we were pretty much down here near the 2 cents to 20 cents level before ripping up to $3.08. So now we're at 50 cents. Where do we think we're going to rip up to next? Cardano's forming partnerships with like XRP. They're doing things that other coins aren't. It's still the number 8th biggest crypto market cap. I don't see it going anywhere. These altcoins are just stabilizing. That's all it is. I mean, they're not dead, you know, like Bitcoin dropped 50% the last cycle. So where do you think the altcoins were going to go? Like they're obviously going to drop more than 50% if Bitcoin, one of the safest assets in the world, is dropping 50%. I don't see Bitcoin dropping that anymore though, so I don't see these altcoins, but something to think about. I'm not going to dive too deep into it in this video because I've already spent a decent amount of time here. But guys, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. I know the background is a little messy. I'm in the hotel room right now, but wanted to make a quick video, let you guys know what's going on and not to worry. I mean, this is just a normal pullback day. We're used to it. If you've been in crypto for more than 2 years, you're used to these pullbacks. And when you see days rip like yesterday, it's normal to pull back a bit. And there's market manipulators. Binance is currently selling Bitcoin, and there's just people manipulating the market always. So in 2 years, do you think you're going to remember this day when it dropped from 108 to 105? Never. We're going to be sitting at 250 to 500,000. Like, you're not going to remember a $3,000 drop, you know. Maybe I will because I'm in Vegas. I'm having fun with my dad, but I'm trying to relax. I'm trying not to look at the charts too much. And guys, you shouldn't either. Like, just let the market do its thing. Invest with what you're convicted in, and just hang on because we're in for a wild ride the next 2 years. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more, and take care.